right, here we go, man. What's happening? What's happening? My name is Tyler.
And it's Daryl checking in with you.
Yeah, and this is Uncharted Mind, right? The podcast where we discuss life, health, and wealth, man. Today,
Big one.
we got a great episode for y'all, man. Listen, a lot of people talk about energy. A lot of people talk about, the feeling that they get from being in the presence of, of other people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'll be honest, man. Like I rarely get that feeling, as far as someone's energy being so strong and so, gravitating. You know what I mean? I've rarely got that feeling, bro. Up until I met this individual that we're actually interviewing today, man. This Sparkle, man. This lady, it's crazy, bro. Because I actually saw her posting in this group that we're both in, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I set up a DM because I wanted to interview. I knew I wanted to interview her right away just based off of what she was posting in the group, right?
And this was before we met her.
Before we met her.
Okay.
had no idea who she was. I loved the content that she was putting out. It's extremely positive. And I was like, yeah, man, I have to have her. We have to have her on the show.
Mm-hmm.
Have to, right? So, like I said, I structured the DM, but never sent it, right? Fast forward a few weeks later, we found out about this event here in Colorado Springs. Shout out to Brandon, he put it together. An amazing event. He changed the name. My Black Colorado. It's now My Black City, I believe.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes. So he put together an amazing networking / award event, and she was there, man. We both met her, and it was so crazy, bro. Like just being in her presence.
Yeah, it was just organic, man. It was
bro.
like she just had a whole lot of love just radiating off of her, and she embraced us. What was so crazy, because we, I don't think anyone in the room really knew us, but she made it her way to come to us and introduce herself, man. And she just had a lot of energy, a lot of love, man. And yeah, it was like, yeah, we got to get on the show, man.
Guys too, man. Extremely sweet person, man. Just beautiful energy, man.
Mm-hmm.
And so without further ado, man, we're going to go ahead and introduce the woman, the myth, the legend herself, Miss Sparkle. Man, Miss Sparkle, how you doing?
Man, I'm doing good. I'm bringing in the new year.
Mm-hmm.
You guys, January 4th, 2022.
January 4th.
2 years and 8 months sober from alcohol and addiction today.
May 4th, right? May 4th, May 5th. Which one is it?
May 4th is my 3 years, but today is 2 years and 8 months. So,
okay.
Yes, I feel it. I feel
that's big time.
Yeah.
Feeling good, feeling good, feeling sober, feeling happy to continue moving forward with my life. So thank you for having me.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
ma'am. You look good. You look well. So we definitely appreciate you being on the show. And so let's get into that a little bit, right? You say you're 2 years, 8 months sober today.
Yes.
Can we get into your backstory, right? Like, so what was your journey like? Where did you grow up? Where are you from? And then what led you to that point in your life where maybe things didn't go as planned?
Well, I am the oldest of 5.
Okay.
And I now live in Colorado Springs, Colorado, but I am a Colorado native of Denver, Colorado.
Okay. Shout out to Denver.
Yes. Been there my whole life, been in Colorado my whole life.
Okay.
And for me, I've always, I have 3 brothers and a sister, and I've always had to be that person, that rock for them.
Mm-hmm.
My family, we roll really, really tight. The Lindsay family is very well known in Colorado, and I appreciate each and every one of my family members as my journey has transpired or went to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
So a big piece of it started, as a college athlete. I played college basketball for Colorado Mesa University.
Okay.
And
you're a hooper too? Okay.
Yeah,
yeah. But all 5 of the other 4 siblings, they also play sports as well. So all 3 of the boys played football. One obviously is Philip Lindsay. He plays for the Miami Dolphins. And then you've also
wow. Hold on, don't gloss over that now.
Yeah.
Hold on. Philip Lindsay.
Yeah, he's my
plays for the. That's crazy. What position is it? What position is it?
Mm-hmm.
Hold on, wait. Philip Lindsay?
Yeah.
Somebody Philip.
Yeah, Philip Lindsay is my brother.
That's crazy. We'll talk about that later. We'll talk. That's crazy. Because I'm a super football fan. I'm sorry.
I never said that to you when we met. I'm sorry.
That's crazy. Wow. That's crazy. Shout out to bro, man. Because I know Philip, bro. Like his story is crazy too. So, but yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So that's my baby brother, but I have two other baby brothers as well who played sports too. And then my baby sister, who's in Oklahoma, head volleyball coach for Ada, Oklahoma, who they went to the championship this year. So for all of us, we've all just been moving forward. Okay. And during my years, they watched me in college, and a big portion of that was playing ball, getting a scholarship, graduating with a 4.2 GPA in high school, and really just working. You know, my dad, my Uncle Tony, who was just with the Montbello Warriors, they won the state championship as well. We all have had this athletic piece to us, and also, you know, the academic piece to us as well. So when I got a chance to get out there, I played. And my junior year, I got really, really sick. And I was unable to walk for 6 to 8 months. I was in a wheelchair.
Oh, wow.
They didn't know what was wrong with me. And finally, they found out, you know, that I was diagnosed with myasthenia gravis, which is a muscular inflammatory condition, which took me down right in the middle of the season. And I went from 140 pounds to 107 in a week and a half.
That's crazy.
So I was told I'd never walk again. I was told I'd never play ball again. And I was scared, you know, but I didn't understand. I'm like, wait a minute, I can't play ball again. What? Wait, what? So I just remember reteaching myself to walk. And I played another 2 years of college ball. And then I tried out for the WNBA, almost signed to the LA Sparks.
Okay.
From there, I turned it down because my body still wasn't feeling very good. You know, I went to go try out, and I knew I couldn't last it. The body just wasn't ready for it, you know? So I graduated, got my degree. And then from there, I got my degree, and then I got double major and a minor. And then I jumped right into corporate America, where for 14 years, I worked for 3 big box companies, HR advocate, operations advocate, a remodel advocate, and so forth. So I did everything that you could think of in the corporate America world. So as you can see through all of that, I never cried when I found out I wasn't going to be able to walk. You know, a lot of times in a lot of our Black families and so forth, we put the H on our chest and handle it. And we don't really complain too much about anything. We just go through the motions and we make it happen, not even respecting our emotions or how we feel. We just fester them. So all along, I'm just festering these emotions, you know, and feeling empty, but I'm determined, you know, and as an athlete, that drive was like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to walk again. I'm going to be, you know, a Black woman in corporate America. You know, I'm going to do everything I can and make sure that other people see that this can be done. There was never a time when I thought of how much it was hurting me too.
See, how hard was that though? How hard was it to keep that mindset through everything that was going on at the time?
No, everything that was going on, it was very difficult. But I think for me, I had that feeling of, nobody is going to deter me from what I want. I'm going to do this because this is what we do. This is who we are, right? And I don't have a choice. That was the way my mentality was.
Real quick, was it your family history, you know, was so deep into, you know, sports? Did you feel like you kind of had to do it because of, you know, how invested your family was in sports and athleticism?
You know, I felt like I had to because my brothers and sisters looked up to me.
Okay.
I feel like I had to because, you know, I was known as one of the women that all the little Black girls look up to. Okay. And little Black boys look up to.
Yeah.
Right? Exactly. I had 3 brothers who were looking up to their sisters like we were their big brothers. And they came out really, really good. You know what I mean? So for me, it's almost like we're placed in this role of being put on a pedestal, even when we don't ask to be. Mm-hmm. And for me, I'm human, just like anybody else is. Mm-hmm. You know, beautiful Black woman who aspires to be the best I can be, but only to the best of my ability. And at that point, I didn't know that piece. That for me, it was, we're going to win today. I'm the one that's going to get it done. This is how it's going to be, you know, and no excuses. So that later on really got me. I didn't realize how much trauma I was holding on to, you guys. So, trauma from being in a wheelchair for 8 months, no crying from it. I thought that was normal. We don't cry. We don't show weakness. Why don't we cry? We're supposed to cry. We're supposed to allow the body to release, allow the body, I say it's the body sweating. We're supposed to allow these emotions to transpire as they may, so that we can release it and move forward. If we're holding on to it, we usually are walking around with a scowl on our face. We're upset at what's going on in life because we haven't worked with us. And I hadn't done that at that point. At that point, it was like I was a robot. Like I was just going through the motions and just doing what they asked. I had all kinds of different accolades and everything, but my life, me inside, was just, it was torn apart. You know, and so I didn't really start drinking until I was 26. And at that point I came out, I was making about $78,000 a year. And then from there, I just kept moving up the chain, drinking, partying, having a good time. I'm single, no kids, and just enjoying my life and doing what America says should be done. That whole corporate umbrella thing. You got money, you do what you want, you're the career woman. But still, all along, I didn't know myself. And I still didn't know I didn't know myself, you know, until I had some unfortunate things happen to me. I was actually in the middle of, I remember the day I was hungover, and I had an employee who came in to get housing. And I had been working really hard for housing for him because he didn't have anywhere to live. And so I was excited to see him. And I said, you know, I'm gonna surprise him. I'm gonna meet him at the, because he kind of shrugged me off, you know, like he had an attitude. And then he said, I gotta go to the bathroom. So I said, okay. So I got to walk in with him, and I waited for him because I said, something just doesn't feel right. So I waited for him, and he got to the bathroom, whatever. I waited about three or 4 minutes. And my intuition, something just didn't feel right. And I say this real quick. I just want to stop and say, if your intuition is telling you something, go with it. Do not disregard your thoughts or your feelings for yourself. Allow your intuition to transpire for you. It has saved my life. But so I got that feeling. I opened the door, and he shot himself in the head.
Wow, that's crazy.
And I fainted.
Wow.
And when I woke up, once again, I went into strong Black woman mode. I'm not hurt. I can get through this. I'm fine. But I did not know I was not fine. I was having nightmares of this. Okay. I was drinking to stay awake and using cocaine to stay awake so that I would not have to endure these dreams and these nightmares of this man killing himself.
Really quick, because I want you to continue the story, but I also want to ask this question, like, while you're in the midst of telling it, right? Like, why do you think it is that we feel, we as Black men and women, and I'm sure other races as well, but we as people, right? Why do you think it is that we feel like it's just okay to hold things in and just drive on? Like, why is that okay for us?
Because us as a people, okay, so I have done a whole huge episode on the strong Black woman syndrome, the strong Black woman syndrome. See, what we feel is strong is not strong, okay? It's not strong to not surrender and say you need help. So instead, we feel like being strong is handling it on our own. That in turn makes us angry. It makes us feel like we are by ourselves, and we create this for ourselves. Okay. We talk about, a lady was telling me, there's all these Black women who walk around with these scowls on their face. And I'm like, well, normally it's because most Black women feel like, I had a lady who told me, she said, Sparkle, I know you're not having a good day today, but remember, there are millions of people who look up to you. We don't have a choice. No, 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 no. We do have a choice. Stop telling people, especially us of colors, stop telling us we don't have a choice.
Exactly.
We have a choice
We're
to
human.
take care of ourselves, fill ourselves with love and abundance, and then give whatever else we can to those that need to help themselves. And we don't need to be everybody's end all, be all. And that's what we feel like we have to do, because that's what we've been taught. We stick together, we take care of each other. But wait a minute, you got to take care of yourself. And so what I stopped saying is, I'm a woman of many strengths. That's what I say. I don't say I'm a strong Black woman. I will always be a strong Black woman, but I am a woman of many strengths because I allow other women to hold their barriers, their stuff, and walk with me. I wasn't doing that. You know, before I was holding everybody else's stuff up. I was trying to make sure that, you know, everybody could be okay, or that I was looked up to the right way. What is the right way? You know,
See, how do we change that way of thinking though?
Yeah.
You know, like what's the solution to getting more people, especially from our, you know, ethnic background, to see things the way they should be seen? You know what I mean? Like if you're going through something, go receive help. Like how do we make that normal?
Well, it's a matter of people like myself, you know, standing up and saying, I needed help.
Yeah.
You know, I turned down a $125,000 promotion to get help. And it took everything for me to save my own life. Okay. It took everything for me. I felt like I was losing the championship, to tell them, I'm sorry, but I cannot take this promotion. I have to go help me. You guys, it is a challenge for all of us to say, I can't do it. And it's not that you can't do it, but doing it alone makes no sense. And we don't get that. We've been told as an American people, period, we win. You know, you think about the Olympics, we want all the gold medals, right? We win. This is what we do. But is winning acting as if something is not there? Acting as if those emotions are not there? Just going through the motions and being superficial about your life? Why are we doing that? Right?
I think we have to get comfortable with being vulnerable, you know, because it's just like if you come across as vulnerable, then I feel like society like looks at you a certain way and looks at you as if you're weak. But we kind of have to make vulnerability like normal. You know what I'm saying? So if, like you said, it's going to take that one person to be vulnerable and to consider themselves versus, you know, trying to hold up the world for everybody else. And I think, you know, it just starts a new cycle, you know, versus the old cycle that we've been going through as a people, as a, you know, society is, you know, is you got to be strong. You got to put on that face. But, you know, it's really, you're tearing yourself down from the inside. You get what I'm saying? So, yeah.
We put on this face. I put on this face. Who I am is who I am from the inside out. Okay. And whether people like that or not, that's their problem, not mine.
Yeah.
The difference is that I'm happy within myself. Okay. Happiness from within. I'm not looking at happiness from a man or a woman. I'm not looking for happiness in all the wrong places. I know in myself, being a better version of me is the only thing I can do with me. And so we have to start with ourselves. There's no secret recipe to this. Challenge yourself to be curious about who you are. Okay, these are the things, the curiosities that we bring to ourselves and the things we can learn about this temple of ours is magical if you allow it. What we're doing is we're distracting ourselves from ourselves. We're trying to tell everybody else what they need to do about them, but don't know nothing about us.
We don't want to put the work in for our own selves. It's easier to point fingers and tell other people where they need to improve at versus, you know, looking reflective within our own selves and working on those things, man. Because the only world you really can change is your world. And, you know, you hope that your world starts to reflect to other people's worlds, you know what I'm saying? Because that's the only thing you have real control over is, you know, how you feel about yourself on the inside. So I understand what you're saying.
And sitting with yourself, sitting with the emotion. Okay, everybody likes to be, Black families, white families, everybody want to be in the room with the elephant. Everybody want to walk around it like it's not there, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm not that person. Let's walk through it. I used to be walking around it. We're all good. No. We need to set these boundaries and we need to walk through our emotions. Emotions are temporary, they're not permanent. So sitting in the emotion, allowing it to consume you for what it is, and keeping moving after is the right way to live your life. Acknowledge the emotion, because another one's coming, and explore what it feels like to you. So that's what we're scared of. We're running around doing all of these other things to deflect ourselves from actually walking through the emotion and feeling it in the present moment and loving it for what it is, because it's temporary, not permanent, and then moving on. We don't do that. That process I just said is one of the hardest things in the world to become a practice for yourself. And I've had to work on it for 2 years and 8 months. In that, I have found so much more just respect for myself, groundedness for myself, congruency for my mind, body, and spirit, because I'm not holding on to all these emotions and festering them, and there's nowhere for them to go. I've got to allow them to come out as they may, and I've got to surrender to the emotion, surrender to how it makes me feel, and then become one with it. And that's it, and keep it moving. This is a practice because we're used to doing it the other way. For our whole life of 400 years of African-American people, we have been festering emotions and just getting through and just getting by.
Well, because I feel like it's more socially acceptable to go the current route. Let's just not deal with it, right? That makes me look strong, right? Because I never have to go to anyone else with my problems. And I never deal with them myself. I just kind of push through. And like I said, that's what's socially acceptable. That's what's socially looked at as, oh, this guy's strong. You know what I mean? But we're not realizing, actually sitting with those emotions, right? And those feelings. That's what actually propels us to be that better person that we're chasing. You know what I mean? So we have to sit in that.
You are so right, because the thing that I have sat in now has been, it gives me chills. It actually makes me want to cry. I'm pretty emotional, but I think the hard work and the effort it took to have the balls to say, I surrender. And I encourage everyone, if something's wrong with you, get it figured out, right? Get that figured out. I think one of the biggest pieces is the worst part about being sick or something happening to you, or you have an addiction that you cannot fight. One of the worst feelings in the world is just sitting with it in a room by yourself, and you can't tell nobody you need help. When I was battling, because I battle mental health as well, which is depression, I felt like I was in a room full of people screaming as loud as I could, and not one person would listen. Oh, she's all right. She's Sparkle. She's strong enough. She'll get through it. They didn't even realize that all along I'm screaming. I need it, but I didn't know how to ask for that.
Express it, yeah.
And that's that double-edged sword. It's like when you paint that picture of you being tough, people don't even see that. People don't even see you as the person that needs help. So that's when they fail to check on you. You know what I mean? That's why there's so many things wrong with portraying that you're just this super strong person and nothing bothers you. You know what I mean? People just don't check on you. You know what I mean? So that's something we have to be definitely more,
boisterous about.
Exactly. You know what I mean?
To be able to say, somebody asked me, Sparkle, how are you doing? I use the terms, how are you feeling? Use some descriptive words for me so I can communicate with you effectively. Okay, you tell me that you're not having a very good day. You say, I feel depressed and I feel upset. At least I know where you're at. I can meet you where you're at now.
And be more intentional when you ask that question as well.
This whole,
don't just ask it. Exactly.
What is that, right?
Exactly.
Honestly, tell me what you're feeling, because I'm gonna tell you how I'm feeling too.
Yeah,
exactly.
For me, it's a wonderful day, January 4th, for a lot of people when you have a milestone. But for me, I'm actually agitated, I'm irritable, and I'm like, ugh, I wish this day would just go. Because I'm still craving. I still have thoughts of wanting to use alcohol and drugs, and then I also am fighting my other root addictions, wanting to rescue, codependency. There's all these inner things that we have to work on. Just because I'm standing here saying I'm an alcoholic addict, right, and that I battle health, mental health, doesn't really mean much. It means a lot, but alcohol and addiction is my symptom. What's underneath my symptom is things like rescuing, wanting to be needed, addicted to codependency. All of us have these addictions. So if you're thinking because I don't have an addiction problem or because I'm not battling mental health, I'm okay, you got all these other addictions that are transpiring and possibly stagnating you in your life because you're not taking the stance and saying, I need to be a better version of me every day. Every day, all of us as a people should be working on ourselves on something at least once a day.
Yeah, improving in some area.
Yeah, you walking around and you're not even looking at who you are or what you're doing. You're not mindful and aware of what's going on. What are you doing?
Exactly, just existing, right?
Fake it, really. Yeah,
just breathing.
You're there now you're just telling people stuff. You don't know nothing about yourself. So you're basically just superficial walking around with nothing to say. Because you ain't doing nothing.
That's true.
Right? So I sit there and look at people, like I said, that maybe I have to deal with my addiction and my cravings every day, one day at a time, right? In the present moment. Well, why isn't the person next to me who maybe doesn't have an addiction to alcohol and addiction, right? Why aren't they doing the same? What makes them any different? The difference is alcohol pushed me into working on myself faster than others. But if you're not working on yourself, what are you doing?
Exactly.
You're working on everybody else but you, and then wondering why you don't have time for you.
You know what? Me and Daryl, we actually, that's just funny you said that, because me and Daryl, we had a conversation, and I don't know if you remember it, bro, but it was a couple of days ago, and we were saying, listen, and you specifically said this, you were like, if you're not improving yourself daily, you're basically declining. Yeah. You're regressing. Exactly. So, the lack of improvement will be your downfall. You know what I mean? So it's something that we push, to our listeners daily, weekly. Work on yourself daily. Even if it's just making yourself 1% better than you were the previous day, do that, right? Because the end result over a prolonged period of time would be drastic. You know what I mean? I don't want to like completely get you off of the story that you were telling earlier, because we kind of derailed this train a little bit.
But it was good,
It was definitely dope. But you were talking about the death of your employee. Or coworker, and how it was making you feel. So can you continue that story real quick?
It was giving me, I felt a lot of anxiety, a lot of trauma, a lot of nightmares. I was starting to have panic attacks. I still can't shop in stores due to this, right? So I knew I needed help. I needed a trauma therapist. I have a therapist. Then I battled depression at the same time, and then about 3 months, or actually 3 weeks later, I was diagnosed with lupus. So wow. I got hit. There was this point where I was giving myself shots of chemo and taking shots of vodka. Okay.
Oh, wow.
And at this point, I was like, I know I'm gonna die. I know it. My body cannot withstand this with all these conditions. And me working around the clock. Then I was having these nightmares. It was a mess. So I got a call from work and they said, we want you to come into the office. And I said, I'm about to get fired. Fired. And I just knew, I said, well, I better go ahead and get my stuff and just go ahead, because I'm about to get fired, because I know they know I've been drinking. You know what I mean? So I walk in there and they said, Miss Lindsay, we want to promote you. You guys, if y'all would have seen my face, they were so excited. And I just started crying because I was like, I really want you guys to fire me because I'm from hell, you know? And I said, you know what? I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to turn this down. $125,000 promotion. I let it go.
So would you say that was the big turning point in your journey, was when you declined that offer?
I would say the turning point is when so I turned it down, and then I said, okay, it's time for me to go to treatment. But the big turning point was, instead of going straight to treatment, I went to Black Hawk, Colorado to gamble. And I drank like crazy, ended up blowing like a 0.4, you guys. And I ended up in jail in Black Hawk, Colorado. And I had to stay there for 5 days because they couldn't get the alcohol out of my system.
God,
take me to the emergency room. And I knew
0.4 is
that's like close to alcohol poison, right? Like
that is,
yeah. And I was like, and the reason why they sent me to the hospital is because I was like, well, I just want to let you guys know, before you guys put me in here, I can help you guys organize your system a little better. Like, you can hear a little faster. And they're like, this girl's blowing a 0.4 and she's trying to work systems. That's how functioning I was on alcohol and addiction.
Wow.
On the alcohol piece, the cocaine piece, the marijuana piece. Molly was my favorite drug of choice. There was not much that I wasn't doing that I could just function with, So once I got out of jail, knew I had that happening, I went straight to treatment. And when I got into treatment, I started feeling good. And then I ended up being transferred to Colorado Springs, Peaks Recovery. Up here, and I stayed for a good 3 months in treatment. And then from there I went to sober living. I gave my ex-fiance his ring back, who was an alcoholic addict as well. I moved everything, I left everything behind, and moved to Colorado Springs to change my life. And I have not looked back since.
That's dope.
Some of the scariest parts of my life, looking back, trying to make my relationship work. The codependency was there as well, and having to walk into this house that I was about to have, my house, my fiance, and he opens the door with a beer and said, here you go. I said, you gotta be freaking kidding me. I just handed him back the beer, grabbed my stuff and went back to my car. And I drove back to treatment, and I said, I can't live there anymore. It took everything, you guys, for me not to go back. And it
was just the fact that I would say you loved yourself. You began to love yourself so much to where it was like, even, like you say, your fiance, you didn't want him to stop your recovery journey. So you saw that love in yourself, like, I got to get out of here. So now that's big.
Sometimes that's the biggest decision you can make, choosing yourself.
Yes.
That decision, and then there's also just been decisions in general where I'm just like, I'm going to have to walk away from this. Like, here it comes. But there's things that you're prepared for when you start to take up more space, because you're no longer using, you're no longer intoxicated. You have clarity. And so for me, I started working through Reiki. My father is a quantum Reiki master. So I started doing my Reiki. I've started being able to ground myself. I've had so much clarity happen. My third eye is starting to do some things. My intuition is starting to just blow up. And for me, I feel like being able to be mindful and aware of, how my body feels all the time, how someone else's body feels all the time, has been beneficial for me. So I knew once I got the hang of this getting sober thing, I knew I couldn't go back to corporate America. I knew it wasn't going to happen. And it wasn't because corporate America, it was their fault. It was because I allowed it. So how do you play a part in your own demise? Ask yourself that question. It's not nobody else's fault but your own if you're allowing it, right? How did I play a part in my fiance and I's world? I allowed our stuff to do that. Whether he did something or not, what were you doing? And why were you okay with it, Sparkle? These are hard pills to swallow.
Yeah.
And they're hard things.
That's true. That's true self-awareness.
Because you
had a whole episode about that.
Yeah, you got to ask yourself, why was it okay for you? And why did you allow it for so long? right? As you start to do these things, you start to become that person that's curious about you. And now
I
you
think
know
that's
what you want, right? You know what you want, you know what you need, because you're starting to develop and transform into the person you deserve to be. It gets real deep once you do it, and it becomes a lot of fun, because now you get to mix and match and play with that body, that temple, that mind, and let it all come together like a full, well-oiled machine. But a lot of times we don't allow that. We do not allow it.
That's dope, man.
Okay.
Listen,
Sorry,
so I would say
channel mode there. I'm sorry, y'all. I couldn't.
Nah, you good. You good.
No, we appreciate it.
And I would say, man, like just from what I'm gathering from your stories, it was honestly, so for you, it was really just a conglomerate of things that were continuously happening in your life that kind of led you to listen. Nothing else was working.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm about to die anyway. Why not I find some type of solace in the bottom of this bottle? You know what I mean? So what I gathered from that was, listen, people, if you're going through things that may seem small, right, at the time that you're going through it, deal with them right away, because, you know, over a prolonged period of time, these small
keep
things
adding up and building.
up, you know what I mean? And it gets to a point to where, you know, hey, everybody cup has to overflow at some point. You know what I mean? Hey. Don't let it overflow. You know what I mean? Deal with your problems as they come. Go ahead. What were you about to say?
Think about this. Now think about, take everything you just said, deal with your problems and go walk through them, right?
Exactly.
But think about what we've been taught in society. Just get through them and keep moving. I gotta win. I gotta win. That's our mentality. Exactly. So it's not that we mean to do it. It's that that's how we've been programmed to do it our whole lives. Instead of taking a second, pause, breathe, halt. Wait a minute. Now, do I really need to go and do all of this right now? And wait a minute. Is this my problem? Exactly. Because what we really do is we do things like, I'll never forget it. And this was my moment when I knew that it's not mine to keep. I can hold space for many people, but it isn't mine to keep, because it's not my journey. It's someone else's. Okay. So instead of thinking that we're walking someone else's journey for them, we're enabling them. Let them work their journey and you walk yours. And y'all work together in this manner, not in this manner congruently. We work together in our power, working our own journeys.
How do we lead someone to thinking like that, though?
The way you lead someone is by, when you see someone that feels like they are codependent towards you, you run for the hills.
do we let them know that's what we're doing?
Yes, you let them know. I have, like, unfortunately, I have things I have to do in my life, and I'm focusing on that. I feel like I am a distraction for you in your life. Because what we do is we think we are rescuing people from what they're doing, but we're enabling people. And in turn, distracts us from what our journey has in store for us.
How do you go about that without feeling like you're failing them or you're just giving up on them? Because me and Tyler actually had kind of somewhat of a conversation like this, I believe like last night, you know.
Last night, exactly.
Yeah, it was like, I struggle with letting people, you know, go on their own journeys without feeling like I've just abandoned them. You get what I'm saying? So how do you deal with that personally?
There's a certain, so for me, I am a recovery coach for alcohol addiction. My company is Sparkle LLC, the light at the end of the tunnel.
Which we got to dig into.
Which explain. I was about to say, explain your background real quick.
Which is my logo is a phoenix that holds up sparkle. If I ever had children, I named my daughter Phoenix. And then the Phoenix is coming out of the tunnel, which is the light at the end of the tunnel. So
she's coming. She's coming. 2022 might be a year.
I've been calling. Yeah. And now I can see the light. And I just knew from there, okay, how do I give back now? Almost 3 years sober, you guys, I'm feeling it. 0 to 3 years is early recovery. But then I felt compelled to not only just help those that are in recovery, but also, or that are wanting to be in recovery. Now I help people who want to transform, be a better version of themselves. So I wrote a book, and I wrote 2 books, Being a Better Me for Me, and the workbook to go with it. So I have
okay, hold on, real quick, because people come up here. You know, I believe you're a second or third author that came up, and y'all just gloss over your book, right? We gotta slow down, right?
We gotta plug it in.
What the book's about, one, and where they can purchase it. You know, if they feel the need to purchase.
So I published my book June 1st, 2021. And it is a small pocket help guide called Being a Better Me for Me. Okay. And it's on Amazon.
Okay.
And
easily accessible.
Yes. And then November 9th, I actually made the workbook to the book Being a Better Me for Me workbook so that people can work through it as well, or take a little bit of sunshine with them each day with my little pocket guide. So
that's dope.
Together, Being a Better Me for Me has the emblem of a butterfly on the front. And then everything in the background is in black and white because I dream in black and white. Most of the things that I have all have some sort of significance to me, my recovery, and just the inner me, myself, which is why I have the phoenix rising from its ashes and holding sparkle up while it does it. You know, this is how I truly feel in my heart that there was somebody who held me up, you guys. And that's when I knew I want to give back. So I ended up getting a certification to be a recovery coach. And then I took it a step further. And now I have my own academy for training recovery coaches to walk alongside others in any type of addiction, not just in alcohol and addiction, and also in mental health. And so when you going back to, you know, your question there, Daryl, you know, one of the biggest pieces we can do is hold space for someone. Okay. And so as a recovery coach, there's a lot of people who want help. They want, you know, me to do it for them. But that is not what my role is. My role is to hold space for you to help yourself. I don't have to leave you, but I can't do it for you. Okay, for me as a recovery coach, I'm a resource guru. I can give you the resources to help yourself. And I can even be there while you do the resources, but I can't do it for you. I can support you. I can push you to the next level. I only can go as fast as you will allow me to, because it's your life. It's not mine. Okay. And so when you talk to someone that way, you got to let them know, hey, this ain't my life. I have the courage to change the things for me, and I will do it alongside you while I'm working on my journey too. But I cannot do it for you.
And see, with that, right? Like, not only are you battling that person who feels like you were saying, Daryl, in certain situations, everybody isn't like that, right? Who feels abandoned. You're battling what they perceive as help.
Yep.
Well, it's enabling, really.
Exactly, because certain people see help as you literally walking, rescuing them. You know what I mean? Like doing everything for them, right? Yep. So like now, not only do you have to battle, you know, them feeling abandoned, but you have to redirect the way they think about what help actually is. You know, it's not me doing it for you. It's me leading you to an answer that you've been seeking, and you doing it for yourself.
So I always want to make those conversations towards people who are asking you for help. So what's your plan? What's your next best move? Oprah Winfrey said it wonderfully, right? Ask yourself, what's your next best move, right? Another thing that's great about being a recovery coach is I can share my lived experience with somebody, and that gives somebody a gem. You know, well, you know what I did? I went on ahead and I went to treatment, and I sat there with myself for 3 months, and I cried for the first time in 13 years. And that was intense, but I had a place for someone to hold space for me to cry finally and know it's okay. Soon as I tell that story, probably 2 weeks later, just by planting the seed, the person's like, I've been trying to get sober, but all these people are distracting me. Maybe treatment is the best way for me to go. I never said they should or they shouldn't, but immediately they started thinking, I need some time for myself. And if Sparkle said it worked, well, shoot, she's my coach. Let me see what happens. I didn't tell you you need to go to treatment. What we don't want to do is we don't want to tell nobody nothing. I'm an alcoholic addict. You tell me to do something, I'm going to do the opposite. I'll tell you that right now. So at this point, if you consider, or if you say, Sparkle, I recommend a hey, or this is my life, and I'm listening to this story and it sounds a lot like mine, now we're working. Now we're getting these stories across to each other that say, hey, this person's been through some stuff, you know, and she physically is saying she had to surrender and say, I need help. And I said it. I said that whole like want to not say you need help, but then finally you got to. And they can understand that and relate to it. And then knowing that I am not going to forsake or for shame anybody for having a reoccurrence, a relapse.
Yeah.
Don't do that to people. We have reoccurrences in our lives, whether it's in relationships, whether it's in an abusive relationship, whether it's in codependency. When we go back to something in a cycle, we are having a relapse, which is what we call a reoccurrence. Research it. Ask yourself what triggered you. See how all of these things are self-reflective, but you ask yourself the questions and you're curious about the things you're truly doing and what may be throwing it into existence and you don't even know it. Being aware of it, you know, and you know, as a Black woman, I say once again, if you are thinking that you are a strong Black woman because you're doing everything by yourself, you got another thing coming. You're going to be exhausted. You're going to be angry. Black men, you're going to be angry because you're doing everything for everybody else but yourself. And if we are continuously thinking that this is the way to be strong, we're wrong about it.
Yeah, I feel like it's one.
Talk to other Black people and say, I need help. There's enough of us here to say, hey, you know what, Daryl, I'm hearing voices and something ain't right. Okay, well then let's go get you a psychiatrist and figure out what's going on so you can move forward with your life. What is wrong with that?
Nothing.
You see how you gave me the resource, Daryl, to go get a psychiatrist to get help? You can't help me with not hearing voices, but you can give me the resources and walk with me while I figure it out. That's all we need to do with one another versus trying to do it for each other. That is enabling, so refrain from it. Because that's how people get more sick, is us just taking control of other people's lives when we don't have control of our own.
And I think too, us as a community, and society in general, but you know, speaking to us, I feel like we have to stop being so, you know, judgmental. And I don't know, man, I feel like our community too, like they look for like a quick ha out of things, man. But it's like it's only funny until you're put into this, and then you feel like the whole world's against you. But it's like, you know, that's the energy that you put out, you know that's, so how can you expect anything differently back?
And the big piece about that, you guys, is asking yourself to have and find compassion for yourself and others. When we find compassion for ourselves, we look at people's lives differently. We've had a chance to really sit in what our life was like. So when I hear someone say, you know, Sparkle, I went back out. Okay. I could go back out tomorrow, y'all. This is, I mean, I'm human. This is a battle for the rest of my life in any addiction. So we have to acknowledge it for what it is, sit in it, figure it out, and then walk through it. If we do these things, a reoccurrence, a relapse is not that bad. We've got to understand where it's coming from so that if it comes up again, we know how to handle it. But if we just relapse, somebody tell somebody, hey, I had a reoccurrence, and they get mad at you. Oh, she at it again. Oh, she got a problem. That, you know, that's not what we do. That's not how we are. Oh, I don't drink, or I do, you know, instead of, okay, my sister or my friend does drink a lot and she is having problems. Why aren't we open to understanding that? Because most of those people, it's a judgmental thing. But why are we being that way when we're human?
I feel like
we've been programmed to be that way.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? We've been programmed to be, even in the church. You know, I grew up in the church. We both grew up in the same church. And, you know, it's instead of, you know, living based on the word, right? The word of the Bible. and not judging people, right? Instead, motivate people and inspiring people to continue to, get closer to God. It's almost like we're on the edge of our seats waiting for someone to mess up, in a sinful nature, just so we can say, hey, that's not of God.
But no, that makes us feel better about ourselves because we're not struggling with that exact same thing, but everybody's struggling with something.
And the difference is that what are we doing? Distracting ourselves from ourselves when somebody else is the issue.
Exactly.
Because it's easy to do that in a family. It's easy to blame somebody's addiction as to why you gotta talk to, it's easy to blame somebody. And it's easy to point fingers. What she need to do is, okay, well, I don't need to do nothing. And you don't be shooting on me. You worry about what you need to do while I focus on what I gotta do. And together, if we have questions, let's come together as civilized adults and let's work through this so we can move forward in our journeys. The journeys are not supposed to be the same. The way that God wrote this is written. So no matter what it is, play the cards that are dealt and play them to the best of your ability, but come equipped for it. Don't come not knowing because you're worried about looking around at everybody else and don't even know what's getting ready to hit you. That doesn't make sense. So
I think
ourselves and doing those things, we're deflecting from what's truly happening with us because we're scared to do so sometimes. And we're scared to say that something's wrong, right? And that we think somebody is going to judge us for it. So we don't say anything.
I think this all falls back on just being self-aware, which we also did an episode on that as well. I think it is so important because, like, okay, if you're the person that's going through, the addiction or whatever, it's important to be self-aware of, what's the background issue. It's not just you're addicted to alcohol or whatever drug is what's causing that addiction. And then also the person that may be being judgmental against that person. Okay, why is it so easy for you to be judgmental against them? What are you really hiding within yourself? You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
Insecurities within oneself.
Yep. The reflection of what people say to you is a reflection of what they think of themselves.
That's a fact.
Hey,
pretty sure we made a post about that a couple days ago, but that's a big fact.
It's a big factor. And the self-awareness piece, the reason why I took up being a recovery coach trainer, there's only 8 in the state of Colorado, and I'm one of them, is because there are now people who, if you have, a record and you're coming from the jails or you're coming from having a background of alcohol and addiction, you can get a job and get certified to do this and walk alongside people. Started my own business doing this a year ago, and it has transpired into so much. A big portion of it is also having the courage to tell my story. Story is the new currency. Being vulnerable about it is okay. To me, I know what I'm vulnerable within my own self to be able to share this story with you. That takes work. That is the work. So if you are half-assed doing your work, stop it. Stop it, because what you're doing is you're shafting the magic. You're shafting yourself from the magic that is waiting to transpire because you half-assed doing stuff. It's like when you pull a Band-Aid, I just pull it off. There is no such thing as taking forever to do it so you can rebuild more stuff on top of it. Why would we do that? Just go through it, fix it, get the help you need. Get those resources. Hey, Sparkle, I need help. I need some therapy. I need some trauma work. I'm battling PTSD. I'm dealing with depression. And every day I wake up, it makes me want to drink or I want to kill myself. Okay. All of these things are happening in our world. And everybody's feeling like they can't get out of the tunnel. And the only reason why they feel like that is because they're saying, I got it. I'll take care of it myself. I'm a strong woman. Okay. Do you want me to grab your hand and pull you out? Because I'm right here. Just ask me for some help. And then we can keep moving together. Make it so much easier to walk as people of many strengths versus just one individual. Right? Which would take us down. It almost took me down, you guys,
No, that's big time. I'm glad you decided to come on, share your story because, I always said that, you know, everyone should tell their story because you never know who benefits from it. You know what I mean? You'll never know. You'll never know who's going through the exact same situation that you're going through. So tell your story, man. And I'm glad you, you know, are in a position in your life to where you're comfortable doing that now. You know what I mean? Because I know you're helping a lot of people with, you know, with doing so.
There was one guy who said to me, he goes, man, the wheelchair piece you talked about resonated with me. I'm in a wheelchair right now. I didn't even think about it. You know, another lady said, I got lupus. How in the heck are you? You know what I mean? You guys, our story can touch millions of people at any given time, no matter where we're at or how it's said. But if you're saying it from the bottom of your heart, from the inside out, and you're speaking your truth, it's going to carry. It carries substance. And it also helps you step into your power while you continue your journey. So remember, as you are gaining momentum, people around you are getting that momentum, and it's infectious. You become a force to be reckoned with because you're okay with you. And once that happens, now everything else around you evolves as it may, and people start to realize they don't have to hide it. Be who you are and work through it. And as soon as you do that, you'll see so many things happen, and then manifest what you want and put it into existence. Because if you believe in it, it'll happen. You know,
I feel
power
like
of belief. That's the power of belief.
I feel like our biggest purpose in life is to help others, you know, in whatever capacity, you know, God blesses you to do so. You get what I'm saying? So, you know, I know our society, we get caught up in, you know, making certain achievements by a certain age, you know, and just whatever society deems as success. But, you know, it's a lot of people that are successful, but they're hurting and dying inside, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like they're not really living their true purpose. You get what I'm saying? So
well, it's because what society sees, I feel like society thinks success is just this one road, right? Like if you're not going down this one road, it's not successful.
Or some monetary value,
Exactly. But we all have our own definition of success. What's successful in my life may not be as successful in yours. And, you know, likewise, you know, the opposite situation. So it's like, we have to realize, like you said, Sparkle, early in the interview, we have to be in tune with ourselves, right? We have to figure out what we want, right? What our journey is supposed to be, and achieve that level of success in ourselves. You know what I mean? Don't compare yourself
and be satisfied
with anyone else's story. You know, we're all individuals. So, you know, treat your story as such.
We're individuals who I would encourage to fight more for what our true passion is. See, the art to recovery coaching is something that I have found is exactly who I am through corporate America, through everything. I've always been a person that says, I want to help people help themselves through positive transformation. And all of a sudden, I go through a heck of a journey and addiction and everything else, and breakups and abusive relationships and everything else. And I'm right here, right where I need to be in this moment in time. And I would not change my life at all. The only thing I'm grateful for is that I have, and I am still learning about where it was and where I'm at right now. I'm not worried about where I'm going. If I prepare for what I'm doing today, I'll be ready for tomorrow. The difference is why we're preparing for tomorrow when we ain't even focused on what's happening in front of us today. Today is what we have. And so I always ask that question. Today will never come again. So what are you going to do with it? What you going to do about it? Right?
Yeah. So,
hey, bro.
Oh, go ahead.
Nah, real quick. This is just so uncanny for me because Daryl sent me a sermon like 2 days ago. And bro, tell me that this isn't the same exact thing. What she's saying right now isn't the same exact thing that he was talking about. This guy was talking about going through a desert, right? And he was talking about how God leads us through the desert, but not to the desert. And people kind of sit in the desert thinking that that's their situation.
Or blame the desert on the devil, and like it could be God preparing you for
to go through it, right? Like that's the training that you need, right? Those are the life lessons you need to continue on with your story to help other people. So like I just think it was just real crazy that he sent me that for one, and then now you're talking about how exactly. And now you're talking about how you went through your desert, you know, and now you're on the back end of it, and you're helping others, man. So I just think that's just super.
But the thing that you got to realize is that if you're not in the present moment, you might hit some of that desert again, and you're like, oh snap.
See, you know,
You got to be mindful and aware because this is your life.
Mhm.
And to me, I always say, you know what, God, I'm gonna jump in your lap and let you take me where I gotta go. Because at this point, I was in the desert and I didn't have nobody's lap to jump in, and I had to surrender, right?
Mhm.
But there are times, you guys, and even through now starting my own business, you know, and all of this, I'm like, now we going through the deep, dark waters of the,
Yeah.
you know, we on a journey, okay?
That's
And
a part of it.
it's like, are we gonna be okay? Well, we gonna be all right, I think. And you holding on, you come out of that, you know. But the thing is what were you doing in the moment, in the conscious mind? Stay out of the subconscious and get in that conscious mind and say, this is who I am in real time. This is what I'm doing.
Let's
and you
go.
push that stuff forward and you just keep moving forward and you don't look back because you've already, you know, there's desert back there.
Exactly.
So keep it moving.
Keep going. Hey, listen, they say the only time you look back is to see how far you've come.
Yep, like
that's it.
I think I'm doing pretty darn good.
That's
you know?
Keep going.
That's it. Just keep going, man. Keep pushing through, man. Listen, so what's next for Sparkle, man? Sparkle is an author. Sparkle is a motivational speaker, a keynote speaker. Sparkle is one of the 8 people in Colorado who can help you when it comes to, you know, addiction and things of that nature. What's next for you? What do your next 5 years look like?
Well, you know, I don't look at 5 years, and I always look at the moment in time. Because you know, I'm excited to get to 3 years, but I got to focus on just today, right?
Okay, yeah.
But now it is really getting more into the motivational keynote speaking. I just love to speak. It's a passion of mine.
I can see.
Training. I love to train people, and I love to help people get out there and be equipped for what's actually going out in the streets. And, you know, you got people who train, and you don't want to half-ass train someone, you know, that's not what my company does. We help you sit in that training. We help you learn about yourself in the training. So I'm working on a mentorship program. I'm working on getting my academy up and running. I need more African-American people to jump in there and start walking alongside each other as recovery coaches. And I don't think enough African-Americans know that it's available. You know, a lot of times the only thing that's been available is AA, you know, stuff like that, or church. But now there's a way to get a certification. There's a way to learn how to be equipped to help people with the drugs and stuff that's out there. So for me, it's more so, I've only been a year old. I'm not a year old in October, my company. So now it's time to go ahead and put it into full force. I'll have probably 2 more books that come out, a part of my series, Being a Better Me for Me, this year. Have apparel, obviously, so people can go on and grab a hoodie or.
What's the website? Go ahead and list that out for us.
It's sparklelindsay.com.
Sparklelindsay.com.
So
listen,
it has
shop with her, man.
Courses, it has videos for you on there. I have a lot of different resources, and then just how people can jump into the academy, Ignite Your Light. And so that's where I'm at right now. And then a lot of speaking engagements starting to come through. So if I am in an area different, you know, in an area near you, whether it's out of the state of Colorado or whatever, you will also see that with the wonderful content team that I have that places everything out there. That's that content you've been seeing. They get my quotes.
They're on it. They're on it, man.
They got my daily quotes, and everybody asks me, when do you have time to write those quotes? And I'm like, every morning. That's my morning motivation. And I come and become inspired to write a morning quote. I'm at 976 quotes.
Listen,
976 days.
That's
sober.
a lot of work.
As a person who is currently going through that right now, listen, that's no small feat, man. That's huge, bro. Like creating content and continuously thinking, especially of daily quotes and things of that nature.
Valuable content,
valuable content, exactly. Things that you can, you know, literally, you know, help others benefit from. Man, it's no small thing, man. Like it's. I mean, we're what 92 posts in right now, and listen, it's a lot. It's hard, man. But you know, we've decided to stay consistent at it. You know what I mean? And we're gonna do that.
And it's also the message, right? My message, you know, the one today, it says, learn to work respectfully and patiently with yourself. Patience. You guys, the 3 basic essentials to life is patience, listening, and communication. So those 3 things you're not doing, practice them because they're going to be around forever.
There you go. There you go, man. Listen, 3 steps to improve your life dramatically. She just told you.
Those things evolve. And that's the thing, is being able to allow yourself the gift to have vision and to create. Stop being told that this is how things have to be. Choose how you want it to be. And what you intend for your life to look like. If you don't even throw it out there, then you know what? Closed mouths don't get fed. You ain't gonna get it.
That's a fact.
So as far as I'm concerned, you better go ahead and throw all kinds of stuff out there you want.
Exactly. Something's gonna stick. Okay, so tell the people how they can reach you. Plug in all your social medias.
Yes.
Because I'm sure somebody's gonna want to get in touch with you after this interview. Just talk to the people and let them know how they can reach
you. So you guys can reach me on all aspects of social media through, just look up Sparkle Lindsay. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, Twitter. There's probably not much. If you just look it up, it will give you everything. My website is the best place to go, sparklelindsay.com. That's going to give you everything I do in a nutshell. If you need me or would like me to be a guest as a motivational speaker, you can fill that out on the website as well. And then I also have my Calendly app that is on there, and usually on a lot of my content, where you can schedule 15 to 30 minutes with me to let me know if we're a good fit. And also, if you're just needing a little, like, to figure out where you need to go next. What I will encourage is that if you feel right now at any time that you don't want to be here or that you need help, please call your crisis intervention line ASAP. And if it's just something where you want to start something new for the new year, give me a call. We'll talk about it and we'll see exactly where you fit in your puzzle and where you need to go next. But like I said, sparklelindsay.com. My number is also on that as well. And just let me know what's going on. If you're interested in the training, that's also on there. And I will be doing at least every other month a different course, and all 4 courses to get your certification to become a recovery coach.
Ooh,
so
I love it.
It's fun. It's I'm gonna say it's a pretty intense training, but I love it because when you come out a different person for not just the people you're going to be coaching, but for yourself.
Yeah,
that's big time.
You guys been with me for an hour. You try 72 hours, you'll be like, ooh. Okay.
Hey, listen, I'm so glad you decided to come on and do this interview, man. Because now the rest of the world can see what I was feeling when I, you know what I mean, when I met you in that room that day, man. Like, this isn't something that you can like act, you know what I mean? Like, you really live this, you know what I mean? You're a genuine person, and I loved your energy, loved it, man. And you know, if there's anything we can do as a show or, you know, just as people, you know, I'm here locally in Colorado Springs.
Yes.
You know, if there's anything we can do for you, man, just let us know. We'll definitely.
And that's good, because that means you're right. Yeah, shoot, you're right next to me, because that's where I'm at. So the piece is we're gonna be having I'll be having a lot of different things I'd like to just put out there, period, for the Springs people, and a lot of different things I'll be doing virtually as well. But my classes, all of that, it's transpired up here in Colorado. So I am just so blessed to meet you. I remember standing there talking to you, and you know, Tyler, I could feel your energy, and for some reason I was drawn to you because I was with Alvin Hidon, which is my recruiter, but I came by and I said, God, something about this energy, and he started laughing. So when I walked by and said who I was, and you're like, I was about to DM you. I was like, oh, this is perfect.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it was crazy. I was like, because I was telling him, I was like, bro, that's, you know what I mean? It was like almost like a celebrity type moment. You know what I mean? I was like, bro, I was just about to hit her up. That's crazy. Yeah. So that's dope, man. I'm so glad our paths crossed. You know, for me, I just look at it as it was meant to happen. You know what I mean? It was meant to happen.
Yeah.
Sure. So, you know,
so honored. I tell you that being at my Black City, receiving the award, I just felt so blessed and so honored in the mental health world, just to know that people are trying out there now, and we're trying to get there and trying to help each other and helping people help themselves. But
Exactly.
ultimately, it was good to feel the energy at my Black City, which I think Brandon Bourne is a wonderful man. Brandon Bourne bringing us all together collectively.
Yeah.
And I have ran into so many people in the Springs now that have wanted to collaborate and work together. So, don't stay away from that. My Black City is definitely a place where we can all come together and figure out where we fit in our puzzles with our companies, podcast, everything. You know what I mean?
Ma'am. And listen, we've already had a couple guests from the show, from the event. So
we got a few more actually. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. So we're definitely going to continue to stay plugged in with that group, man, and with those people, man. Those people are beautiful. Those people are amazing. The energy's crazy. I love it. You know what I mean? And I love everybody that's in it, man. So again, listen, it was a pleasure meeting you.
Yeah, thank you for your time.
I know for a fact we're gonna, our path is gonna cross again someday. And I just look forward to the moment, So thank you.
Guys. Hey, hang in there. And once again, I am honored, and it's a privilege to be on your show. Okay.
Oh yeah. So is this interview number 90 for you, or is this 89?
It is 90, I think.
Okay. Yeah. I wish you would have. Yeah. Okay. There we go. 90. That's a memorable number. 90 is a memorable number. Yeah. So there we go, man. Listen, there you have it, people. Listen, we have, listen. I'm gonna say it there. I gotta say it. This is one of my favorite episodes. I say this every episode because I swear to God, because we're getting better as hosts, and I feel like the people that we're interviewing are. Each one of y'all teaches us something, a little something different.
Yeah, like
I love to learn. We both love to learn. So this is definitely one of my, if not my favorite episodes that we've done. Right. So thank you again for coming on. It has been amazing. And again, if you need us, you know where to find us.
Hey, all right now.
All right.
Hey, please do.
Out the tunnel, y'all gonna have to grab.
Hey, we'll help you know what we can.
Please
thank
do,
you
man.
again.
Because I believe, listen, if we can't keep our word, man, we can't keep nothing in this world, man. So I'm big on that. If I give you my word, I'm gonna go through on it. So, but yeah, listen, people, there you have it. Sparkle Lindsay, and we out as a show, man. Love y'all. Peace.
See y'all.